So my main talks will be about how the technology, the new technology, will give citizens much more power, including power to government, politics, public debate, public services, but that the people on the other side, the current executives and the current political leaders, will have to answer it with a different kind of leadership. So what I see as a main effect of the new technology is a new public debate and a new public arena in which there will be much more competition about what is an acceptable public leader. So there will be much more competition between all kinds of people who think they can be public leader, including politicians. And one of the reasons for me to write this book is that I hope I can inspire the strategic intelligence of the current leaders in the democracies, that they know how to compete these kind of new arena. The nicest example close to this place is probably your Prime Minister and how she acted at the disaster in Christchurch. So maybe we can explore if you think that kind of leadership will be necessary to keep up the new democracy inside the new technologies. Not all public leadership is political. So one of the big new competitions in the public arena is who do we call public leaders. So I started a think tank to explore our work as consultants and temporary managers in the public domain and how we should further their strategic thinking. So there came my publicspacefoundation. Probably people say they want citizens to do more, they say they embrace social entrepreneurship, they say they like civil leaders, but they don't act like that. And as I said, I analyze the current digital technologies as a new revolution in mankind. It's a third revolution after the agricultural, the industrial. We now have a new civil society coming up. It's not just technology, it's mentality, training, attitude. And I have in the book two main elements: the strategic analysis, what's going on, and how will it impact politics, democracy, public services on the one hand, and what is the best answer on the other hand. And I think civil leadership, that I can explore with you if you think that's correct. Citizenship should be also in the boardroom. It's not just only at informal organizations or neighborhoods or sports associations. It can be in companies too. It is on an executive level, you can be a good citizen. Yes, it is a different value pattern of these civil leaders. They operate all in the same kind of values, which is mainly they are entrepreneurial on the one side. They want to challenge things, change things, activate things. And they are very public-oriented and public cause-oriented on the other side. So they have two main value streams in their attitude. The side results were that often they had a competition with politicians. Because what I saw, that when you as a citizen predominantly want to change things in the public sector, in public services or in approaches in the neighborhood or in the environment of people or in the education, then most politicians don't like you. They are against you because they think that you show that they have done something wrong or that they have forgotten something or that they were on the wrong track. So they, as I said, most politicians you talk to today will embrace civil initiative and embrace civil power and embrace civil society. But when it comes to their domain and their responsibility, they're not that much in favor. Because they think that you show them what you should have done, or what you could have done, or what you did wrong. So that's one of the problems in the public domain when a citizen acts actively and wants to support society in his or her way. Also, non-executive boards have the same problems as politicians when you act too much in your own style. The public opinion is now, for the first time, really of and from the public. No longer all kind of journalists, experts, translators beneath the public opinion and what you see of it. Because you can see on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or all the other platforms what is really the public opinion about a public issue. The second is that I say, and that changes very much the public arena, is that there is a public grandstand that is always on, always commenting on what's happening in the public domain, and generating their own information, their own images, their own comments, and it has to be addressed by everyone who must be a public leader. So politicians on the one side, but also executives of greater companies, executives of greater non-profit organizations or public service organizations, they all have this same new public grandstand to confront. The old message they had is, when you are shaven, you should sit still. So when the people attack you, the public opinion attacks you, wait and see. And then after 2 weeks you can say that you will investigate something or make a committee or look at it. And now in the current public grandstand you should act immediately. I've seen executives who waited 2 weeks with answering and they're now gone. They're fired. That's the new arena. All people that want to be influential in the public debate are on this new channel. The main example internationally is of course Trump. Trump had 28 million followers on Twitter before he was elected. And he now has 80 million followers. Everybody is one of us citizens and is trying to influence us and is trying to communicate to us. So the big public grandstand has its own new channel, and this channel, in my view, in my analysis, will be the most important in agenda setting and issue everywhere, including Parliament, including newspapers. So this will be the leading channel, because everybody is on it and everybody wants to be influential on it. There will be a battle for the eyeballs. The new public arena is defined by this third channel, and this will select itself what is important. And maybe a small accident on the road will be more important than some policy debate in the Parliament. But everybody can generate new data, new information, new pictures, new comments, new scandals. It's no longer only professional journalists. Swarms of fishes steer on two things: the vague direction they want to go, and the second is the distance they have to each other. And the current technology facilitates this enormously. We had in France the big protest called the Yellow Vests, and the first time we have a technology that you could say, tomorrow we will be with 40,000 people in Paris. That was nowhere near the technology we had. We had the same in Holland. We had a protest of primary education teachers about their salary, and they appeared in The Hague with 40,000 people the next day. And that is the new technology. The new technology, you don't need to have meetings and talks with unions or protest groups. You can just say to each other, we will be there, and then you are there. You don't want all kind of leaders around you when there's nothing going on and when there's nothing wrong. So leadership has to do with, there is an urgency for it. We need the leadership of one of us citizens who is doing the right thing for us citizens. So we need, again, a leadership that is redefining the public cause, challenging our routines, and having the right attitude. My new definition is that the same style is necessary in the whole public debate. So also politicians should show civil leadership. I see all kinds of fights and battles about the best style of leadership and how they should promote themselves in the new public arena and on the new social media. Political commentators are increasingly aware how important social media are for the success of a political leader and in the campaigns. But the good news is everybody of you can again be a public leader. So the nice things for me is that there is much more place for private people for the common good operating as a leader. In villages, in associations, in park, in neighborhoods, in protest, but maybe even protest towards politicians and towards parliament is an old-fashioned attitude. Maybe the new attitude is we solve it ourselves. If you want to be only a leader in the boardrooms, yeah, then you've got a problem. The main thing they don't like is when they are ignored. And I see coming up that they will be ignored. That the main attention of citizens will go to the new third channel and whatever they please there, or solving the neighborhood problems they see. And why should I go to Parliament for something I can solve here? What you could see in the upcoming of Trump is that it was outside current political strategy, structure. So he went up from a celebrity on TV to a celebrity on social media. Then the newspapers had to write about him. They didn't like him. They didn't think he was very competent, which they were true, of course. But they couldn't ignore him because he was too big as a celebrity on social media. So they had to write about him, and when they wrote about him, he got more standing and more status, and the Republican Party had to nominate him. Is that you can see your public support for your own opinion. You can see how much people like what you're saying. And the first time we see, I think in 100 years, we see a president in short sleeves. The first time. So what he shows is he wants to go in dialogue, to go with the people, to listen, and that's the new civil leadership I'm talking about. But maybe going against the national government is a very civil leadership-like attitude. So that's an active citizen who uses a democratic measurement for a good cause. And the third one is from Holland. It's Marjan Minnesma, who went to court about climate policies and won the case in court, and now the cabinet is under a court order to do something about the climate. So the second thing is about populism. I'm against this term. I think it's a kind of defensive, wrong term, because it kind of shows, it's a kind of boomerang term, because it shows that the people who use it are not democratic enough. I mean, populism as a term just says that you listen to the people. I think all political parties should listen to the people and should change their attitude if they want to, but they should first listen. So I think populism as a term is not very helpful in defining what's going on. It's even a term that is used by weak democratic parties that has lost some elections. But you're right, there must be something learned at the citizen side too. That's why I call the yellow vests in France a bit an old-fashioned reaction. So I hope that the new technology encourages citizens to take their own initiative, to take their own effort in changing something in the village or in the neighborhood or in the associations they are a member of. But you're right, this learning process is as big as the learning process of all the institutions that should change. And I'm not very, sometimes I see something good. I mention in my book several platforms that are now in the air, coming up internationally, about exchanging between citizen initiatives that are possible on the one hand and volunteering on the other hand. So the matching, like we already commercially know from Uber and Airbnb and things like that, that you also have a matching platform between citizen initiative and citizen problems. This new technology leads to another mix of representative and direct democracy, and within direct democracy that citizens learn how they behave in a public arena. You're right, you're right.